Yep.
All right, all right, all right. So we're live. So happy Friday. Good morning and welcome
Happy
to Money
Friday.
Mindset. You have the doctors in the house, Dr. Stephanie Ardrey and Dr. Thyonne, known as what we say, Dr. Money and Story Genius. We are coming to you again. Happy Friday. Coming to you from LA. Hey, I'm in LA. I'm no longer on the island. I had to come home. What's up with that, Dr. TG?
You know, she
Oh,
had to come home. She had to come home and she had to come visit in LA. She actually has work in LA. So for those who are watching, who are friends, who are saying, so wait a minute, y'all were in Jamaica together and now she couldn't even come visit me. She went to visit you instead. She wasn't visiting me. She just was here on business and then they got tired and couldn't drive back home. So of course I welcomed them to stay at my place. Now, anybody that comes to stay with me, I always invite them. It's a
it's
choice. I
choice
invite
word
them
there.
to go and do a morning workout with me. And Dr. Money did so good this morning. I didn't tell her what the workout was. And we went to my gym where it's sanitized and the trainer works us out. I had told him the night before I may have a guest. Butch Dennis, Butch's gym. And I also didn't tell Dr. Money, which I'll tell her right now. Butch is usually in there like recording and surprise recording. So you may show up on Facebook or Instagram or something and not really know that you're there working out. So it was a good thing you did a good workout though, because you're going to probably be on candid camera.
Yeah, and Dr. Theon, it's good that I have to leave you today because by the time the pain hits me, I won't be able to give you a loving hug. I'll just have to send you love and kiss and hug. Like, oh, my arms hurt. I can't lift them.
It was really a good workout, and it was kind of funny to see you, Dr. Money, where you were looking like, do what?
Right.
Do what?
I was
When
right.
are you supposed to be on the treadmill?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why you stop my
Right.
treadmill? Because
Right.
we start on the treadmill, and she was just like,
Right.
"Oh, I got this. Got my this is good. This is good." He's like, "Yeah, yeah. Go over there.
There.
Get this bar." She was like, "Do what?"
Like, how did I get part of the workout routine? I was just kind of a tag along. You know, I would stop being a tag along because these tag along, you guys have me thinking I'm just a passive tag along. I'll just do my own thing, and I end up in something each time.
It was great. It was great. Well, anyway, we digress. We are here in LA right now after this venture we had in Jamaica, where we decided to tag team and stay in touch and present money and mindset to you. And today is our Q&A Friday. And we have two good, solid questions that I think will lead into some other questions. And I think I'm going to kick off the first question so that Dr. Money can share a little bit, because these questions came from yesterday's financial literacy, where we had Greg Sneed talking about getting your house in order for financial literacy. Greg gave us some really good pointers in terms of navigating and planning and writing things down. Some of the questions that came out of that really evolved around, how do you do this? We always say, write it down, put your finances in order, put a financial plan together. But people want to know, how do I gather the information? What information am I gathering? How do I know what to gather? What is it that I'm actually doing? So, Dr. Money, I want you to give us maybe not a step-by-step guide, because we haven't put together a step-by-step guide, but it's a good thing for us to do. It's something to put on our to-do list. If you could just give us some insight on what should people be pulling together, and then what are they writing, and maybe what are they writing on? So it's not just writing on a pad something. They don't even know what to write on the pad. So what do you write to start getting your financial house in order? What information do you gather to start doing that?
Absolutely. And it's the basic stuff. I think what every person wants to do is to familiarize themselves with what a personal set of financial statements look like. Oftentimes we go and we're putting together business records. And so you're requested to present your balance sheet, your income statements, or which can be interchanged. You hear income statement or P&L. And then you'll hear a cash flow analysis, just as kind of keeping track of how cash is entering your business and the sources and types of cash that's entering your business. But if we take it back and say, let's talk from a personal standpoint, each person should be able to put together a simple balance sheet. And basically what the balance sheet does is it allows you to have a summary of your assets. And so you're looking at your liabilities and your owner's equity. And it's a very simple formula that comes up with the balance sheet. But in that bucket of assets, that's where you have things listed like your immediate cash on hand. So your liquid assets, what's in each of, if you have multiple bank accounts, I have $5 in this one, I have $200 in that one. So all of those sources. If you have retirement accounts, what are those retirement accounts? Do you have a 401k? Do you have a Roth? Do you have this and that? And then also, do you have insurance policies? Do you have term policy? Do you have whole life policy? So you want to evaluate what are all those different things that you have that are available, that are there for different reasons. If you have a term policy, sometimes we use term as a gap to make sure that you're protected for a period of time, because you're waiting to then transition that into a whole life policy, which allows you to build up a savings and some value within that policy. In a term policy, you're not building up value, but you have protection for a period of time. And so dependent upon your unique circumstances, you want to understand which of these tools are necessary. But at this point, we're just talking about, let's just identify what we have and get it all organized in some form so that we know where it is. And so your balance sheet is going to be, let's start there with a personal balance sheet. And the formula is that your assets equals your liabilities plus your equity. And so the goal is to, the sheet reflects balance. So if you have liabilities, then the value between the liability and the equity, it should all balance out. And so if it's out of balance, then that's something that says, hey, we need to figure out what we have here, what's misrepresented. So for example, a client sends me a balance sheet to look at so that we could start talking about financing for his company. And he listed vehicles. What he did was he listed the purchase price of those vehicles as assets on the balance sheet. And I said, that's not correct, because cars depreciate. So what you have to do, it doesn't matter what you paid for it. That is not the value of the vehicle. You've got to look at the Kelley Blue Book and look at the year of your car, the miles, and if that car was to be sold right now, that is what would be the value of the asset. And it's a declining value unless you have a classic car that's now going up in value, but most vehicles that we buy, you drive it off the lot and you've lost 20% in value. So no, it's not going to be what you paid for. You're upside down, unless you've got a business strategy on how to use that. Yeah.
So that is a great way to explain how to start getting things done. Put it on a balance sheet, which Dr. Money just explained what it is. That's going to be your assets. And the story genius would just say, that's what you own. That's what you got. The stuff that's yours, like this, the stuff that's yours that has some value. So this little thing here I got was a Lakers pin. Put it up here, a little Lakers pin. It was a 60th game. And I could say, oh my gosh, it's a little keychain actually. And this keychain, I could say, oh, can I put this on my balance sheet? No, it ain't worth nothing. This doesn't go on the balance sheet. The balance sheet assets means, what do you have? What do you own that you could cash out for some money? Okay, that's what that is and what the value of that is. Your liabilities is stuff that you owe. How much do I have to put out? Things that I owe. So it's as simple as that. If you start with putting what I have, what I owe, and that's a good way to start your list. Yeah. There are a lot of programs that you can use as well. I mentioned Mint yesterday, and Mint will ask you the question so that you'll know how to go get the different things. Wells Fargo is a bank that has some budgeting. I think most banks now have budgeting programs in them. And those programs are good if you're working with a program with your own bank, because a lot of your information is already there, and they've tried to categorize it for you. So they're telling you, this is the restaurants you visit. This is how you spend on your travel. So taking a look at the graphs from your own bank account can be a good way to take a look at what you have, and especially what you owe and how you spend. Greg mentioned yesterday spenders and savers. And many of us might think that we're savers, but if you start taking a look at those graphs, it tells a different story. So there's something about the numbers that tell a story that you have to start looking at, because we tell one story. Oh no, I do this every day. I have friends who will say, I just don't know why I can't lose any weight. I eat right. I exercise every day. But if you look at the story and you follow the story and you actually followed them, you would see the nibbles. And I was the same way. You would see the nibbles on the chips. I was an M&M fan. I still am. I have to watch myself around M&Ms. Now I'm on these little chocolate dots that are at Trader Joe's because they're richer than M&Ms. So I'm like, please let them be sold out. Please, please, please. You know, the proof in the story is when you really look at the data. So when I looked at the data of how I was really eating, when I said, I don't even eat anything. I don't know why I keep gaining weight. I work out all the time. Well, I was walking, you know. I wasn't really working out. I was doing some stuff, but I wasn't doing the kind of workout that I needed to do to counteract those dots I was eating. So the truth is really in the data. Look at your bank statement, look at the things around you, and start writing down what you have. So that's great on that question. Now, Dr. Money, I have another question for you. Once we put all of this data down and we've gotten it written and it's like, oh, I did what I was supposed to do. How do you find somebody to help you figure out what to do with that? So we spoke with Greg yesterday, and he talked about getting an advocate for you or hiring someone to help you with your financial planning. What should someone look for in a financial planner, or how do they just even navigate finding someone? That was the other question that came up. If you can share with us on that.
Absolutely. And I'm going to send a shout out to Melanie. Hey, Melanie, good morning. We're so glad that you're tuned in today, because we also had Melanie on as a guest as well. And Melanie is a CFP, a certified financial planner. And she is the type of expert that you want to have a conversation with. And I always suggest that people have multiple conversations. You know, when you're doing research, I like 3 to 5 conversations. It may not take 5 conversations. You know, you may be able to realize with 3 different conversations where you have a great fit. So you have to think about not only the qualifications of the person that you're going to, but also what is their particular focus. Because much like anything, when we talk about finances, the ways to manage someone's portfolio is broad. You know, there might be insurance assets, there might be different retirement accounts, there might be stock brokerage accounts. So understanding a couple things. What are the goals of that particular person and where are they? So a financial plan for someone in their early 20s is going to look very different than an updated plan for someone in their 40s or 50s, right? Because when you're younger, you have the opportunity to rebound from more aggressive, if you will, investment. So typically what a financial advisor does at the beginning, at the onset, is to understand your investing comfort. So they sort of rate you to see, are you a risk? Are you risk adverse? You know, kind of who is this person? How do they feel about their money? And how do they feel about putting their money to work? So that we understand. So it's really getting into the mindset, right? And what might be that person's investing philosophy. And if they haven't developed a philosophy and they're early on, then usually you want to have an advisor that's more comfortable with educating you, right? So they'll determine that. What's your level of investment knowledge and experience? As you become a little bit more experienced in investing, then you get to dictate if you're the type of investor where you want to do a lot of the research yourself and then you will consult with your advisor. Or if you're more, let me step back, I'm a little bit more passive, I'm looking to my advisor to do the research and more actively manage my portfolio. So it's just kind of understanding what type of investor you are, what you're looking to accomplish, and what is the time horizon that's available for you to accomplish those objectives? Because that's going to then inform some of the decisions about how it is you're going to accomplish those goals, and which tools become most evident, most pronounced as the best tools to use based on your scenario. So it's just like anything else. You're planning a trip, right? We want to go to New York. Well, okay, I know you want to get to New York. When do you want to get there? If you want to get there in a month, you might drive cross country. But if you need to get there in this week, then we know that you got to take a flight, so it's just, kind of that thing of understanding those tools in that context.
Okay, great. So is there, with searching for a planner, do you know if there are different types of planners, fee-based versus others?
Yeah. So again, in much like people have gotten real familiar with the term realtor. Sometimes it's still misused, but that's a sign of just advertising. So the common, the layman goes, oh, a realtor, I need a realtor. What you want to look for when you're looking at financial, you want to see financial planners that have a credential called CFP, Certified Financial Planner. I mentioned that that's something that Melanie has. Those are financial planners that have gotten an advanced credential that has given them the opportunity to demonstrate that they have more knowledge. So they're not just entering the field and just getting started at the beginning. They've actually developed some knowledge and expertise. And so they're more skilled at being able to look at different variables that they may face. But what I've noticed is, because I have a bench of financial experts that I work with, and different ones tend to, how I would say I would distinguish them is based on their focus. So some are fee-based, some tend to represent certain products. And there's nothing wrong with someone representing products, but you just need to understand that going in. Because if you're not interested in those particular products, then you don't want to have a financial advisor that's captive to certain products. That may not be the right one for you, right? But if it is that the products are good, like for example, I mentioned in the insurance bucket that there are distinctions. You'll have a term versus a whole life policy. So I was looking for a term policy that would allow me to convert it before the term expired to a whole life policy. Because I knew that I wanted that functionality in a term policy, then that began to inform which organization I looked for that term, because not all of the organizations allow. So there was only a few that allow you to convert a term to a whole life in the same policy before it matures. So then that informed who I did that policy with, right? But that person is not advising me over everything, because I have different, relationships and needs that I'm getting from my different, like I say, I have a bench of money people, right? And it's also the same thing for the clients, because the idea with the Dr. Money is each client that's coming in is going to have a different objective. And so then from that, then I'm going to help to guide them to the appropriate connection on the bench. Some of my older boomer guys tend to like to work with some of the guys, and then I have some women and guys who are more comfortable in working with the boomer. Then you have the younger, so it's just having that mix of not only personality, but expertise, to make sure that we're listening to what the client is seeking and able to provide them with the right match, the right fit for that.
That's fantastic. Well, that sums up our questions. And I think it also helps to inform us what the community really needs for us to continue. And we're going to be working towards continuing to bring you money and mindset matters that really speak to you, and bringing you guests that can help you with whatever it is that you have questions on. If we don't know the answers, we know somebody who knows the answers. And that's the good thing about money and mindset. Today, again, is Friday's Q&A. We want to thank everybody for coming on board. I guess we can leave a little bit early because we answered that question.
We could tease our guest. We have what's coming up next week, and then we
Yes.
have a guest because next week is Thanksgiving week, so we're going to be a little bit different. We're only going to have one guest on Tuesday, and then we'll skip having a guest on Thursday, so that'll be exciting. So what we decided to do was part 2 with Dr. Ardrey Oliver next Tuesday, so we'll have part 2, which would be wonderful. And then also we have more guests on deck for the following week. And then we have to decide. So are we going to do a turkey day or are we going to miss our Thanksgiving morning?
Yeah, I was just thinking that we may want to just kind of allow people to have their turkey day off and do a intensive Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and see everybody back the next Monday.
All right.
And we might even convince our special guest to be with us for the whole week. I don't know. I think it would be interesting because he has so many different.
I know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and Dr. Oliver, we had Dr. Oliver on before talking about the mindset and our physical well-being. So how appropriate for us to be talking about Dr. Oliver today after Dr. Money did her workout with me this morning.
Exactly.
So really talking about that physical well-being in conjunction with the mindset and what it takes to really keep us healthy in mind, body, and soul and spirit. I think it's so important. It's the only way to launch into any type of money adventure that we want to go into. And it's how we multiply not just our money, but how we multiply the years that we get to be here. And that is worth more than any silver and gold. So I think it's important, and hopefully it'll touch you as it's touched us. And we have some special things for you next week. So Monday through Wednesday.
I love it.
We'll do our little break Thursday and Friday. Unless if we get a lot of questions on after Wednesday, then we'll pop back in on Friday and we'll let you know on Thursday if we will.
Absolutely. No, I love that idea. I'm sure he would love that. And since we have him captive, we might as well take advantage of that, right?
Exactly. And actually, he may not be able to leave. We're on lockdown. We just heard we have the curfew. We could just tell him that he can't leave. He can't leave out of the airport. He can't go back to London or Jamaica or anything. He just has to stay here. Oh, well.
Exactly. Trying to get back to the patients. And I think he said he's got a speaking engagement today, actually, which is beautiful because he's been doing a lot of work in London. And so it's exciting. So it's nice to have and this is his first time to California. So, thanks for everyone embracing and exposing him to bits and pieces of our California experience in Vegas, all that love. He's getting it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Money and Mindset Show with Dr. Money and Dr. Story over here. We will bid you farewell. See you on Monday.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye.